Q2 or quarter two is where most entrepreneurs either build momentum or fall behind. The problem, most people don't prepare for it, or they simply just react to it, or they don't understand the importance of it. What if I told you that you could literally have a strong second quarter as you could a fourth quarter if you just changed your perspective? So today we're going to take a deep dive into how to make your second quarter explosive just by simply changing your attitude and changing your behaviors and how you view quarter two. We're also going to talk about 5 ways that you can help make quarter two stronger and prepare for it in a practical way. So let's dive in. I'm Belinda Ellsworth, and if you haven't hit subscribe, please do so. This is going to be really great because we want to make your second quarter strong. So first things first, and that is, how do you view the second quarter? Now, I've consulted with a lot of different companies and really helped them have a much stronger year than what they have had in the past. And how did we do that? Well, interesting enough, a lot of people that have a very large sales organization will sometimes see as much as 75%, anywhere from 60 to 75% of their total sales come in the fourth quarter of the year. A lot of people, it's very frustrating. They don't have good, strong cash flow in the first part of the year because they're waiting for that big holiday selling season to come in the fourth quarter of the year. And that's where all the money is coming in. Well, you can't operate a business on a yearly basis, or it becomes much harder to operate a business on a yearly basis when it's just waiting for this strong fourth quarter. But here's an interesting way to look at your year. When I started teaching this to others and when companies started to implement it, it was amazing at the incredible difference they saw in their second quarter. And that is, take your first quarter and just list it out on a piece of paper. So January, February, March, April, May, June. That is the first half of the year. I said first quarter, but first half of the year. Then make a dash across from it. And then across from January, you've got the second half of the year. So that is July, August, September, October, November, and December. So if you started to treat January and July very similarly, you'll see that actually you do that kind of anyway, right? And then we'll talk a little bit more about that. But February then is like August. March is like September, which is what we are just completing, and we are getting ready to head into April. April is like October. And then May is like November, and June is like December. Now, why am I telling you this? Because if you think about, especially if you're a strong retail organization, e-commerce organization, sales organization, you'll find that a lot of your big sales come in that fourth quarter. But if you started actually treating the spring like your fall, the spring selling season like your fall selling season, and if you set goals and behaviors like April is like October. So think about that. We get into October and we're talking about our top 10 items for holiday giving. We are talking about sales. We're talking about the fall. We're kind of in all of it, and we start planning. A lot of you will plan for your big Black Friday sales in November. So that fourth quarter of the year is huge. And then we have holiday sales. So if you went and looked at that, like, okay, April's like October. October is where you hustle. It's where you're talking to a lot of people. You're meeting a lot of people. You're starting to get your sales in on a consistent basis. And then you're leading into this explosive November. If you treat April like that, you're going to have an explosive May. And that will lead you to a really strong June. Now, if you have a good, strong second quarter, it creates momentum that can actually then carry you through sort of the slump of the summer, which is what a lot of people experience. Now, depending on what your business is, you might have a seasonal business, and that might make it a little bit different than what I'm talking about. But for the most part, people just go into their second quarter looking at it just as the second quarter of the year, not gaining any momentum. When I have worked with companies, I've said, let's treat April like you would October. What would you do in October? What would your marketing campaigns be? What emphasis would you put on it? What kind of sales would you do? What kind of incentives or awards would you do for your organization? So when I got them to treat April just like they would in October and to think about April like October, and then I said you could actually have as big a May as you have in November. I have every company I've ever worked with has said there is no way that we will beat May, what we did last November, right? I'm like, well, let's set our goals on that. And what's so interesting is just by changing their behavior, changing their outlook, changing the practical application, they actually saw some of the same numbers in May that they saw in November. So this is why I want you to think, okay, if November would be like we all plan for Black Friday and it's talking about all of our products, we're doing big sales, then what could we do in May? Now, a lot of people forget that you've got a lot of gift giving opportunities that happen during this April, May, and June season. Let's talk about it. We have ended the school year, so a lot of teachers' gifts. Lots of parents, especially for children that are still in elementary school, are going to be purchasing teachers' gifts for the end of the year. What goes along with that? Well, graduation gifts. And we have graduation for all kinds of different people, but let's specifically talk about high school students and, of course, college students. And there's lots of different things you're going to be thinking about in addition to just money. We've got wedding season, so we've got wedding showers, we've got weddings that are going to happen during this time. And the second biggest holiday next to Christmas is Mother's Day, and that happens in May. We have Father's Day in June. We've got a lot of other things that are happening during this time. This is just as much, my friends, as Christmas. And yet, oftentimes, we aren't thinking about it. We're not marketing to it, and we're not telling other people like about what kinds of products you have that can help them out with these holiday needs. Because if you're not talking about it, then people aren't thinking about it until oftentimes last minute. Do you have something within your product line that could be a great graduation gift for seniors or for college students? Why not market that? Create a small ad campaign around that. Talk about these are our top selling items and they are best for these gift giving opportunities. Maybe even create a little spring brochure that people can look at, like sort of an e-catalog, if you will, or an e-brochure that allows people to see all the different items that you have for sale and how they can fit these different categories. You know, if you want people to buy your items for certain gifts, then you need to be able to tell them what items you have and why they're good for these particular individuals. So, as I mentioned, end of the school year or wedding gifts or shower gifts. Another big one is graduations and, of course, Mother's Day. And when you are marketing for Mother's Day, you don't want to just market Mother's Day. You want to market to all of the special women in your life. So this makes people start thinking about, oh, I should get something for my aunt, or I should get something for our nanny, or I should get something for, my best friend who's always been like a second mom to my kids. Like it starts getting your mind thinking about the other special women in your life, because most people just won't purchase one item. They'll purchase multiple items, especially if you have any kind of deals where people can get 3 of a particular item at a discount. So then they'll think, oh, you know what? I'm going to get one for my mom. I'll get one for my mother-in-law, and I'll get one for my aunt. So that's the kind of thing and the ways that people start to think about it if you plant those seeds and put those in their mind. So that is one way that you want to look at your second quarter. The other thing is it's a good time to evaluate. So to assess and really say, okay, what do I need to adjust? So we want to look at what did you do in quarter one? It's always good to go back and look at your annual goal and then how you are doing in that. So when we compare, how we're doing, don't want to say month over the last month, because in reality, each month always presents a different opportunity depending on what your business is. So you want to compare January of this year to January of last year. That way you can see how well are you really increasing. That's where your increases come. That's how you can set effective goals as well. Last year in January we did this and we'd like to see a 30% growth rate. So you set your goals for the 30% over that, and then that's what you are aiming toward. Now, when you have an annual goal, you want to break those down into those quarters, looking at what you did in the last first quarter. How did you compare to that this year? Did you hit your target? Did you do more than you did last year? Did you hit the goal that you set for yourself in the first quarter? If not, this is the time for you to look and adjust. So if you've already set your second quarter goals, this is where we want to adjust them so that we can make up for any difference that we had in loss over the first quarter. So then we break that down into what campaigns do we want to have for each of those months and where can we get those increases at. If you look at it just as a quarter, it can get lost on you pretty fast, and a lot of people are scrambling in the last 2 weeks of the second quarter. Well, we don't want to be doing that in the last 2 weeks of June, right? Absolutely. So instead, you want to be thinking about how can I make adjustments in April, in May, and in June to make up that difference for whatever you didn't do in the first quarter. You also want to make sure that you're looking at each month and creating a really good campaign. And a campaign is always threefold. It is your email campaign, it is your social media campaign, and then any other video or any other types of in-person events that you might be doing to support those types of events. Your website, making changes on that. So whenever you're going to do a campaign, you have to cover yourself in all of the different areas of where you are marketing that product. All right. So before we move forward, we want to look back. So we want to make sure that we're assessing and adjusting. We want to double down on what is going to make you money in this second quarter. You want to start to track things weekly. Now, I like to set goals for monthly, but then break them down to weekly. Always make sure that you are talking about things. Think of how the retail stores advertise. I mean, you will start to see fall products out and fall clothing out, and sometimes July or August. So they always are a month to two ahead of the program. So that is why you want to make sure, even with your social media campaigns, if you're making a big plan for Mother's Day, that is like around the 10th, 11th of May. I'm not sure exactly what day it falls on this year, but it's always that sort of second week in May. And so what's really important here is you can't wait until May 1st and start talking about Mother's Day. No, round about April 10th, April 1, you want to start talking about Mother's Day. You want to start talking about graduations. You want to start talking about end of the school year. All of these things are going to start happening around May. To the beginning of May is like Mother's Day, right? And then you've got the end of May to the beginning of June is graduations. So, and end of school year. And then you've got the, second week, third-ish of June is Father's Day. So if you just anchor those right there, you've got those campaigns, especially if you're moving them all back at least 1 month. So 4 to 6 weeks, you want to make sure that you are doing all of your campaigns, which is email, it is video, it is social media, all of it, so that people actually see it and are thinking about it. The sooner that you get people thinking about it and then actually help them make a decision, the more likely they are to do it. So again, a quick recap, if you would just change your mindset to think about the first half of the year and align it with the second half of the year, so that your second quarter, you're aiming for like what you would in the fourth quarter of the year. What if you could turn things around so that you had just as strong a second quarter as you do a fourth quarter? This could make a complete difference in cash flow, in the way that your business works, in your stress levels, in everything that you are doing. And just by changing your attitude about it and then your behavior about it, your campaigns and your sales strategies around it, you're going to find yourself with a completely different result, which could be more revenue in general for the entire year. Because if you create this momentum now, that is going to actually carry you through the summer so that you can have the biggest fourth quarter that you've ever experienced in your entire life. So second quarter is imperative because you are really setting the stage for the rest of the year. So happy planning, everybody. Get your thinking caps on, start doing your strategies, and let's set goals for this second quarter. Make it explosive. Treat it just like you would your fourth quarter if you really want to see an incredible 2026. That's what I want for you. So don't forget to hit subscribe, like this if you enjoyed this video. Make sure if you really liked it, you share it with somebody that you think would benefit from it.